Over 200 experts have shared their secrets to a successful business. Join me, Rose Davidson, as I discover how these experts took their businesses to the next level.
Talking with the experts.
Welcome to Talking with the Experts. Talking about all things business by business owners for business owners. Episode 241 with Krishla McNabb.
And that's what it comes down to, is your type. You've experienced something in your first experience of motherhood. So I always believe that our first experience of motherhood is how we viewed motherhood. We had to learn it from somewhere, and we did. We learned it through the eyes of a child. And sometimes we'll take what we experienced and copy it or mimic it or hold it at such a high standard. And other experiences, we'll take it and we'll flip it to the complete opposite to change that story so that it doesn't occur for our children. And essentially, isn't that what mothers do? They nurture their children, they protect them, they love them. And if they themselves have felt something, then by flipping it and changing it, you're ultimately trying to give your child the best possible start in life.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. My name's Rose Davidson, your host. I'm from rosedavidson.com. And my guest today is Krishla McNabb. And Krishla is going to be discussing with us about when we are loving our life, everything we are, including our business, becomes attractive. Krishla is the new motherhood identity coach on the block. She's the host and creator of Motherhood TV Australia, starting in December 2021. Krishla invites mothers to identify who they are inside and outside of the mother CEO title we have all claimed by creating trust in our decisions that become rock solid, love within ourselves again, joy within our every movement or every moment and every movement, and a beaming confidence that becomes our signature mark in this world. Welcome, Krishla, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Rose. Thank you. I'm so excited to be on the Talking with Experts podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. So
I remember the very first show that I listened to, and it was the laughing. You were speaking to the laughing expert.
Yeah.
And it was just the right podcast at the right time and the right moment.
Yeah, so, she's lovely. She's such a lovely person. And I don't know, she's her own business is doing really well. So
making that laughter.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess being in love with our life, professionally and personally, is always a great outcome. But sometimes it's quite hard as mothers and obviously women who find it a little bit difficult because we've lost ourselves along the way. We become a different identity and we've lost who we are. So can you explain to our listeners, please, how you would help someone find their identity?
Find their identity. A lot of people suggest that a motherhood identity coach is someone that takes a person and applies a bit of lipstick and applies a new outfit and zhuzhes the hair. And we all know that it goes a lot deeper when we're not feeling something within. So the first thing I do is ask someone what they are actually feeling currently. It's really simple. Asking what you currently feel, how you got there, what happened just before you recognized that you were in that place. And then from there, I really ask someone whether it's something that they enjoy feeling because quite often we'll discover that we actually enjoy the feeling of stress, or we enjoy the feeling of frustration. And we start to create that in our life without even realizing. So becoming more aware of what it is that we're feeling, how we got there, and then really choosing what is it that we want next? What do we want to have occur? Do we like this feeling? Yes or no? Do I want something else? Yes or no? What is that feeling that I want? And what is it that it's going to change for me in my life?
Yeah.
So it's questions. It's really isn't a lot of telling from me. We think experts are there to tell us something. And I always remember there was a saying, a quote that a great teacher won't tell you what to do. They'll show you something and ask you to feel more into it. And so a lot of my ways of helping, a lot of my direction is not actually direction, it's invitation.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. I think a lot of people, when you go to see a coach or therapist or whatever, they tell you how you should be feeling rather than asking you how you're feeling and solving a problem that way, rather than, you're meant to feel a certain way and you don't feel it. And you think, there's something wrong with me. It's not working. The therapy's not working, or the coaching's not working.
Yeah, or it feels uncomfortable. So the other part of that is I love being in uncomfortableness with someone. I love it. I love that I am seeing someone open up in front of me, and the tears and the frustration and the yelling and the screaming and the getting agitated with me and not talking to me for a week or 2 weeks or a month or ghosting me. I love that because I know underneath something is happening. I know underneath that you are connecting more to yourself and who you are inside than connecting with me. And that's the ultimate goal. As a coach, I believe you're not meant to connect with me, you're meant to connect with yourself.
Absolutely. And as we, when we get married, we become a wife, and then when we have children, we become a wife and a mother. And if we have a business, then we're a business owner, a wife and a mother, but we're also someone's sister, someone's daughter. So, but, and our identity, sometimes we don't even know who we are because we're wearing all these other hats, and we have to be all things to all people. And it took me a long time to figure out who I was before I got married, and all these other, labels were put on me, that's the person I really like the most. And so, I'm really fighting to get back to her, because she was just an amazing person who, wasn't afraid of diddly squat. She used to do everything. So
I totally agree. I 100% believe that that's where it begins, is where we start to take on that other personality. I like to separate the two. There's an identity and a personality. So the identity is who you are within, I believe. And the personality is that's what changes when you go into a different experience. So my personality of who I am with my husband is different to who I am with my children.
Absolutely.
But the identity of who I am inside will always come out in both, the strongest. So if I look at how I'm being in one thing, and that's one thing that we cover, we look at every single aspect of your life experiences, and understand that whatever is happening inside here or inside ourselves will always ripple out in everything, because I believe everything touches everything, and it can't not, because it's coming from within you. So I remember going into motherhood really young. I believe I was 18, and I didn't know who I was at that stage. I had no idea. I just finished high school. I was still trying to work out what I wanted to do when I grew up. So how was it possible that I knew every aspect of me inside? I had already learnt how to react in every situation. And every reaction that I had was based upon something I learned when I was like 7 years old to keep me safe. And now that I wasn't 7 years old, now that I was 18 years old, I still didn't have that full confidence. I didn't have that full safety of knowing who I am. And I was still making decisions and choices half the time out of fear of judgment, of what other mothers would think. I remember going out the very first time after I had my child, and I was one of those mums that didn't want to go anywhere because I believed this was an option that I was taking on, and I was going to do it 100%, and I was going to be there for my child 100%. And the first time I went out, somebody said to me, "You should be at home with your child." I know, and it really hit me, and I was still in that frame of mind of what somebody else thought was more about me than it was about them. And I didn't have anyone saying to me, "Do you know what, don't worry about that. Just go out, have a good time. We're meant to go out and have a good time. We're meant to have a break from our children. It's healthy. It's really healthy." It's the part where we don't have to carry that personality of being the mum, and we just get to sink back into our own identity. So the same thing with business. If I'm always in my business, I'm always in that personality, and then my identity, this is where we marry up the two, by bringing the identity safely into the personality. And all of a sudden, it just sort of merges the more you strengthen who you are inside. And all of a sudden, judgment doesn't have the same impact. In fact, you actually look for it. I now look for it, the judgment in someone. I actually encourage people to share their judgments, because I know what happens for them when they share those judgments, and I know what happens for me when I hear that judgment now. I would love for everyone to start saying, "Do you know what? I actually judged you on this, but I wanted to ask you this," because essentially that's all judgment is. It's human. It's important. It means that we haven't asked somebody something that we were wanting to ask them. Only we've taken the view that we shouldn't judge. It's bad to judge. So I think that's probably one of the first things I love challenging and inviting into someone's life.
Yeah, I used to hate being judged as a mum. I mean, I was a bit of a party girl, even though I had 2 kids at home. But I always had them at my mum's house or my stepmother-in-law's house or whatever. And I worked all day, and I thought, well, I'll just party and then go home to the kids. And be sometimes like 3 days later, I'd go and give them a bit of a hug but then I started to feel guilty because, people were saying, "Well, why are you home with your kids? Why are you out here?" And, that really got to me. I thought to myself, well, why aren't I home with my kids? What am I afraid of? Why? I don't believe I was meant for motherhood, to be honest. I love my kids to bits, but I don't reckon I was meant for motherhood. I'm just not that way. I'm not that motherly. Haven't got that mothering instinct, although I used to protect my kids from everything. And, if someone hurt them, I'd be, straight away bashing somebody or doing something. But yeah, I just didn't have that nurturing thing about it. I don't know whether it's because of the role model that I didn't have as growing up. I don't know, but I wasn't there emotionally for my children, so they keep telling me so. Yeah, but I was there for them in other ways. But I thought, well, that's what I know, that's what I did. But they've grown up to be good kids, despite the fact that I wasn't emotionally attached to them. So yeah, I just don't think I was meant for motherhood. Really, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Like being a housewife wasn't my cup of tea either.
I absolutely love your bit of truth you just shared there. Like, I just want to just take a minute and actually say thank you, because it's all part of motherhood. All of it, all that feeling of maybe not feeling that you're the mothering type. And that's what it comes down to, is your type. You've experienced something in your first experience of motherhood. So I always believe that our first experience of motherhood is how we viewed motherhood. We had to learn it from somewhere, and we did. We learned it through the eyes of a child. And sometimes we'll take what we experienced and copy it or mimic it or hold it at such a high standard. And other experiences, we'll take it and we'll flip it to the complete opposite to change that story so that it doesn't occur for our children. And essentially, isn't that what mothers do? They nurture their children, they protect them, they love them. And if they themselves have felt something, then by flipping it and changing it, you're ultimately trying to give your child the best possible start in life. And then your child may turn around and say, well, you weren't that loving, Mum. You weren't that there for us, or you weren't there. And then they have an option. They have an option to mimic what they've experienced or flip it and change it out of their protection, out of their love.
Yeah, well, none of them are having children.
Well, and that's the thing, our mothering comes out not just in having children, it comes out in how we work, or how we make a coffee and serve it. If you're a barista.
Oh, yeah, they're all that way. They're all loving in that way. They're such good people and such kind-hearted people. But, you know, I think they expected me to be Mrs. Brady. I think that's what they expect, and that wasn't going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and it's perfect. It is perfect. It's the way that it happens, and it's the way that it unfolds. Something amazing happens though when we start to open up with our children and with ourselves. When we start to actually look at how we mothered or how we worked within business, we start to change and choose things rather than do it from a reaction from something we've experienced. So what usually happens is a lot of talking starts happening, a lot of sharing. And in that state, a lot of people get really uncomfortable because it's hard. It is hard to sit and listen to somebody share how they feel deeply without
blame. It's really nice to hear. It's nice to hear, especially where there's no blame attached. But when blame starts to come into the conversation, then it is really painful, and you feel, I don't know. I used to feel, especially with my youngest, that I was a terrible person because she blamed me for her whole entire life. And I thought, you've made decisions on your own. That's how I brought you up. I brought the kids up to be independent, make up their own minds, and the choices that they take is their responsibility, because, you could have chose one way or another, and you chose what you chose, and it's your fault if you don't like it. And that's how I brought them up. And if, that doesn't make me an uncaring person, then so be it. But,
Yeah, there is no right or wrong.
No,
there
absolutely.
isn't any right or wrong. I am a firm believer that whatever experience you have had, you've had it for a reason. And there's a saying that creeps in, and I was thinking of it this morning, and it popped in, and I was just laughing to myself. The saying is, a leopard never changes its spots. And I always used to think, whenever I heard it, I used to get frustrated and annoyed. And I'm like, why would you want to change your spots? Why would a leopard want to change its spots? Wouldn't a leopard just want to know where the spots came from, how they got there, so they could love them even more? And I really, really hear that so often. I want to change this. I don't want this to happen anymore. I want to change it. And there's another way to look at it, that you can not change it, but actually learn how it got there, why it's there, what it gave you as a human being that somebody else was meant to experience. So I just want everyone to become a leopard.
Yeah, I think the thing comes because, people that are bad don't change. And I think that's why they're saying, because leopards are so spotty, I think that's where that saying come from. But it's a bit misguided, I think.
It is because I truly believe I didn't have a great experience with my mum at all. And it took me a long time to get to the point where I was like, wow, that experience that I had created the loving heart that I am. I had options that I could go down a different track and cut off and become cold. And I chose, for whatever reason, to sink in deeper and to really love rather than disconnect. So that bad experience, or that experience, had so much goodness in it, had so much. And I understand that there are people out there that don't have that feeling and that understanding yet. And I guess that's probably why I do what I do, Rose, because it's certainly flippable.
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It took me a long time not to blame myself, but, I am who I am, and, they have to accept me for who I am, and, like I accept them for who they are. Yeah. It's, but I guess getting around to using all of these things and, being a mother and mothering and all that, and then you get into becoming a business owner. How can you sort of take those same nurturing instincts and behaviours into your business and be just as kind to yourself in business as you are as being a mother?
I think the biggest key that I always encourage is to really adapt the whole everything touches everything. So when you're in your motherhood, when you're in your wifehood, when you're in your parentinghood, and then you step into your businesshood, to take the same things you've learned within and apply them in your business. So with the same belief and the same value. To give you an example, if you're in the role of a CEO of a company and you've got all these people working for you or through you or in your company, and all of a sudden you have an issue on the floor with one of them, how you have looked at mothering, or how you've looked at fathering, how you've looked at brothering, is going to come out in how you deal with that situation. So if you're having an issue in your business, it's the perfect opportunity to look within and actually say, okay, how is this showing up in with myself? And how can I adapt it to my business? How can I change and adjust what is happening within me so that it reflects out in my business as well? Because I would guarantee you, once you start working on this thing, your body, yourself, it becomes magnetic in your business as well. It will start attracting. It has an attraction. All of a sudden, that force or that push that somebody felt, because we as humans are starting to really feel each other.
We really haven't had a choice, have we?
No. No, we haven't. And that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect because we needed to be able to feel each other. We needed to be able to hear when somebody is not being authentic with us, not being true with us, not telling us the truth of what they actually think and feel, out of fear of, oh, this person won't do business with me if I tell them the truth. When in fact, you might find that 10 other people will do business with you by telling the truth, by saying, do you know what? I'm not a world-renowned expert in this, but this is what I think. This is what I feel. People are starting to respect that far more than them telling you, or you telling them what you think they want to hear.
Yeah, I think those days are gone.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's lovely. It's nice.
It is. Yeah, it's the world has changed in the last 2 years because of we've had to, and we've had to become more honest with ourselves, and we've had a lot of time to reflect inwardly about the type of person that we were and what kind of person we are and what kind of person we want to be. So there's been a lot of inner work done, I think, because we just haven't had choice. We've had to do it because we've been locked away and couldn't, do anything else. There was nothing else to do.
And when one person starts doing it and then ripples it out, it's really hard for other people not to meet each other in that same energy, that same connection. So when you start to feel that somebody else is like being a lot more truthful, a lot more honest, they're speaking about safety and trust and acceptance or judgment, it opens up an opportunity for you to go, wow, how do I feel about this? What do I think? Do I want to carry on doing that? Do I want to change it? And that's the ripple effect, the butterfly effect, the thing that we've heard about for so long, but never really practiced. We haven't really sat in it and had that opportunity to feel as uncomfortable as what we do now.
Absolutely, yeah. There's been a lot more. It's a lot more genuine. People are becoming a lot more genuine than they used to be. And if they don't want to work with you, they're being more honest about why they don't want to work with you, or vice versa. If they do want to work with you, at least they give you a reason rather than, leaving it up to the imagination, because sometimes the imagination runs riot and it's not always the truth.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
All right, Krishla, tell me a little bit about Motherhood TV. I know it's on Facebook with Mums in Business. So can you just tell me what day you're on and what you discuss, and do you have guests, and are you looking for guests?
Yes, I'm absolutely December. We're in December. It starts this month. And the first show is all about why Motherhood TV is so important to me. It is so important because next year, 2022, my word for the year is dissolve. And I wish to dissolve and determine to dissolve depression in motherhood. And I truly believe that depression begins when we don't feel like we can speak exactly our truth for fear of judgment, for fear of ostracization. That word.
It's not payday either.
And I really believe by us all learning how similar we are and dissolving that whole judgment idea that we have, it will actually lighten when somebody wants to tell you a truth that it's not about you, it's about them, and vice versa. You're going to receive it even better, and you're going to be more open to someone sharing exactly how they feel. So the idea of Motherhood TV is to talk about motherhood, all the topics, in a fun way and in a way that we are sharing, not complaining, because I believe complaining gets us nowhere. Sharing brings us back together. And that's what we really need in our mothering aspects again. We need to cut down that compare-itis and that judgment and all of those lovely, amazing things that we've experienced. So it's going to be once a month. There will be a panel coming on eventually, probably midway through the year, where we'll have experts come on and talk and share and be real and step out of their I'm an expert and I know everything, and just be in that whole identity of a mother in their own experience. Because sometimes we learn these things that are really good tools and they work for us, but they might not work for another person because they've had different experiences. So the whole idea is that we just as a motherhood come back together and help each other, depend on each other, create some more safety, create some more trust, some more truth, some more acceptance. And in doing so, we start to break down depression in motherhood, which is huge. And we sometimes forget that we've got all these little children watching us and experiencing us going through depression. And monkey see, monkey do. So whatever they see and learn is whatever they're going to either play out or flip to the complete opposite. So yes, I am looking for amazing experts. I'm looking for mums that are just ready to just share their experience. Some mums might not be ready fully to share their experience. And that's where my little podcast will come in, because I know how confronting sometimes it can be on camera. And I really want to have an option for mums to speak their truth without the feeling that they are being judged. And I believe podcasts do that. Yeah, that's the plan for next year.
Good stuff. So anyone who's listening, look out for Krishla McNabb on Motherhood TV. It will be on Facebook. It's being screened on into Mums in Business Australia. So check out Mums in Business Australia and look out for Krishla's episodes of Motherhood TV.
Yeah, and certainly if you want to put your hand out, if you have any sort of service for a mum, any sort of goodness for a mum, and you know that it's goodness, and you know there's a mum out there that could really use a hand, please reach out. Just reach out. Rose knows where to find me as well, but you'll be able to find me on Motherhood TV and Mums in Business. We can't do this alone, and it's time we stop trying to do it alone and we all get back together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Krishla, where can people find you other than on Motherhood TV if they wanted to work with you?
So they can they can get a hold of me via email, which is motherhoodtvaus, just gone blank, at gmail.com. And I'm on Instagram. You can follow me, Motherhood TV AUS. I also have a photo challenge that I run on Facebook, and it's called Seeing with Intention. And it's run monthly. It gives you a chance to contact me, get in touch with me. It also gives you a chance to have a look and see what it is that I do. It's not scary, it's fun, gives you something to focus on throughout your days. Yeah, they're probably the main places that they can find me at the moment. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I possibly can, because I know when you're a mum and when you're in that state of mind, you just want something that's really simple and easy to find. You don't want to make it too hard.
Oh, God, no.
You want to be one click away. Sometimes I remember I couldn't actually say that I needed help at one point. I just kept commenting on something. And something amazing unfolded after that. So it's about making it easy for mums to reach out. It doesn't need to be hard.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be complicated either.
Yeah.
All right, Krishla, have you got any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Last words of wisdom. I believe you have the wisdom. I believe you have the knowledge of who you are. And I believe you just need to find a safe space to start playing in that a little bit more. So I want to see all the leopards. That's all I want to see. Be a leopard today. Show someone your spots.
That's it. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Krishla, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today. And I will make sure to tune into your premiere episode of Motherhood TV.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Rose, for having me. And I appreciate the opportunity and the space that you create for other people just like me to come on and share what's in their heart and what they're passionate about. This space wouldn't be the same without you creating it. So I thank you.
Well, thank you. That's lovely. Thanks so much. All right. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me on Talking with the Experts. Make sure you subscribe through your favourite podcast app or on YouTube, and check out my Patreon page for more value for you, or you can buy me a coffee. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. I look forward to your company next time when I'm talking with the experts.